Do you know of any town or community that has put together such a perfectly balanced advisory committee where there's an equal number of Democrats and Republicans in?
No, but, you know, it's not to say that Weymouth can't be the first.
Well, and given the fact that Massachusetts enrollment is predominantly independent, is that type of political balancing contemporary with what's happening in our society?
How often have you seen independents included in anything?
Well, that's what I'm asking.
They're not. And you have to remember, within the independent or unenrolled, which is really
Unenrolled in Massachusetts.
misnomer, it should be unaffiliated, because they're sick and tired of the party system, or they hide because they don't want all the junk mail coming to their house.
Well, that's what I'm asking. Proportional representation generally has to be proportional.
Right.
So having one Democrat, one Republican, and one unaffiliated would not seem to me to reflect proportional representation.
Well, then
It affect, you know, it reflects perspective representation, if you will.
Okay, well, do you know of any town in Massachusetts or anywhere else that has such a plan?
No, that's why
Okay.
we're asking.
And, you know, I may have to alter the numbers, and, you know, there may be a particular precinct 3, no independents want to be involved. Okay, so we'll have 2 Democrats. I mean, I can't let that stop. I need, and I want these people to come in and tell me what's going on in their neighborhoods. Their political affiliation is not that important as to them coming in, but I want to give the perception that I want to be all-inclusive. The Democratic Party is not all-inclusive. The Republican Party is not all-inclusive. Okay? I was enrolled in one of those parties for 45 years. I left 2 years ago. I don't see me going back anytime soon because there's too much conflict. So what I'm trying to do here with this idea is to say, I want everyone to come in. I want everyone to be a part of this. I want everyone to have the opportunity to learn, and I want possibly someone out of that 54 to become the next mayor, because I'm not going to be the mayor for life. I don't know that I'd run for a second term. But I would want to make sure that I could find someone out there who is bright, articulate, knowledgeable of the issues, that could then, and I would work with that person. I would say, okay, these are my experiences. You're not going to be running against me. You have to run against whoever the other party or whomever is going to throw up. Shouldn't have used the word
As
throw
it were,
up.
yeah.
You know, but for other reasons. But anyway, I want to leave not so much a legacy. I just want to get the town out of its rut.
Okay. Not that this is a rut, but one of the other key issues that the mayors of the adjacent communities are struggling with, and the candidates have spoken to, is drug use and its related crime. Do you have any thoughts on how Weymouth fits into what seems to be a statewide concern and issue with drug addiction?
Well, you know, I spoke to one police captain who said, no, Weymouth is no worse than any other town, but we can be better. The LAPD went out and bought a fleet of new cars, and each one of them has license plate reading technology built right into them, an infrared device, cameras on the rear. And they can ping 20 or 30 license plates at one time. There's a bad guy in there. So I want to outfit at least 3 cars. And as I said the other night, I'd be willing to spend my own money out of my salary, because it's $20,000 per car, to fit these cars, at least 3 cars, maybe 1 each year for the first 3 years. Weymouth lost out on a grant. There was a bust recently in Braintree that was because of the police car had this technology in it. So I want to catch the bad guys coming in over the border. We have a black tar heroin problem. People say, well, it's all coming in from Quincy, it's coming in from Dot. It's coming in from Hingham, it's coming in from everywhere. So if we as a town have 3 cars, and eventually maybe all of the cars, fit it with this technology. And not so much to grab somebody coming out of a Chinese restaurant that had a couple of drinks. And this is the input that I got from a couple of people. Well, suppose they do that. Well, you know, we're going to have rules for the use. You know, we're not going to be abusing people. The purpose of this technology is to catch the bad guys. If we get an unregistered car or a known drug dealer, and the police car gets a ping on that plate, and they follow that person and see where they're going, maybe catch a drug deal going down, well, you know, then it works. Going door to door, I was down on Cedar Street in Weymouth, and right near the Fairmount Cemetery. And as I'm walking down, I saw a go-fast, bright red car go into the cemetery, blacked out windows, goes in. I didn't think anything of it, visiting their relatives. As I worked that side of the street, I'm coming back the other side, I see the go-fast red car come out, followed by another car. I won't describe the car, but my interest got piqued. Somebody jumped in my car, and I followed the two cars, and they were like on top of one another. They were like beetles mating or something. And so I followed the car until I was able to get a read on the license plate, and I turned it into the police. And when I first mentioned it to the policeman that I contacted, and without telling him that I had the plate number, he said, "Oh, that was a drug deal going down." I said, "Well, maybe here's some help. Here's a plate number." Now, if people did that, if they saw something suspicious going on in their neighborhood, and they reported it, and they didn't want to remain uninvolved, I want police protection, but I don't want to be part of it. I don't want to do my job. Well, you know, there's nothing I can do other than go out and buy technology because people don't want to be members of, upstanding members of their community. You see something going wrong, you need to drop a dime. It's as simple as that. You know.
Beside technology, beside enforcement, what other elements of are needed to fight this scourge in the community?
That's a tough question. We need to get the court system to stop releasing these people. You know, once they bag someone, they go to court and they get out. You know, they're put back on the street. I was an audible witness to an accident right a few feet down from my house, and I heard bang, and then I heard tires spinning. What the heck is this? Well, it went out, and the car rear-ended another car. The other car happened to be a plainclothes policeman. Okay? So the woman had all kinds of orange junk in her teeth and so on and so forth. And they suppose, maybe there's some drugs involved. So, people came in, they'd searched her trunk and blah, blah, blah. So I get called to court as a witness. So why do I want to get involved? I'm retired. I get called to court as a witness. This woman appeared in court, and there were others at Quincy District Court. She appeared just like her. She was so shattered that she had to be helped to the elevator by her mother. They got a continuance, and it was continued and another continuance. I went to court 3 or 4 times on this same case, and she was supposed to take whatever the Section 38 or whatever it is, a voluntary drug rehab program. But I was amazed, and I said to a couple of policemen that I knew there, not that I frequent the courthouses or anything, but I said, what is up with this? They said, well, they go up and they shoot up in a parking lot, whatever else. I said, you mean to tell me that the judge is sitting there and he takes cognizance of the fact that this person is higher than a kite and that the judge does nothing? So we can put 100,000 police on the streets of Weymouth, but if the court system is going to put the criminals back on the street, then we have to rethink how we appoint judges. It's like I said, it's a complex question because everything grows out exponentially.
So you mentioned prosecution and enforcement of the laws as the 2 main pillars of how you would fight the drug problem.
Right. If we don't prosecute the laws, then why have laws?
Is there a broader approach that you think needs to be considered, maybe a social aspect to that?
I think feet to the street. I think we need a few more policemen. We need a few more undercover policemen out there. We need to interdict the crimes before they happen. We need to get the druggies from coming into town to distribute their poison. And once we can put a halt on that, then we can work on the programs to help those who have been affected. You know, everyone needs a little bit of help, but sometimes people just never grow up. They're kids for life. You know, they just, I don't want to talk about anyone's particular problems, but we all have problems. And we all need help from time to time, and I wouldn't deny anyone help. But that person who's going to accept help with taxpayer money is going to have to stay the straight and narrow. Okay, we're not playing games here. We're trying to save your life, and in saving your life, we're hoping to save other lives, because you may be out there driving up high and killing somebody's kid. How fair is that? It's not. So, day one is going to be a very tough job.
Well, you mentioned day one, and I would like to ask you, were you to be elected, what would be the first and second actions you would take if you walked in the office of mayor?
Well, the first thing, I would have department heads or call a meeting, let's say, of all the employees that work in town hall, and then I would go to the finance center up at Whipple and have a little chat with the people up there and say, okay, folks, we need to start treating the taxpayers with more respect. We need more efficiency in our operations. No one's going to want to cut their own job, but I'd be willing to work. As a matter of fact, I had occasion to go into to request some information from Town Hall based on the departing days of the former mayor and some expenses that cost the town. And they got the stuff. It was like $185. I haven't gone in and picked it up yet because I'm busy with other things. But when I was in the office, before I left the mayor's office, there were two gals that work in the office. As I started to walk out, I said, oh, by the way, I said, let me tell you, on day one, you guys are still going to have jobs. I'm not going to come in and make wholesale changes. And one of the women said, oh, thank God, we really need our jobs. Well, you know, you take that and you say, well, we really need our jobs. Well, there are a lot of people out there that need jobs. So I don't want to rule with an iron hand, but I basically want to tell town's employees that we have to start treating the taxpayer with a lot more respect. Someone has a problem, we need to address the problem. I want to appoint a public advocate. It's my new logo on the blog that you guys supply me with. And this person's going to have to be knowledgeable about all the different aspects and laws and rules and things in town, so that when someone comes in and say, I have this problem, then this person's going to be able to direct that person to the right person. And once you get to that correct person, that correct person is going to know in advance that this person was sent by someone else, and you better have the answer. Okay, we're not going to just slough this off. You can go in and argue with, I'm not going to mention departments, you can go in and argue with certain departments, and it's just like, you know what, you know, I've got a job here, I don't have to listen to you. I don't need to deal with this. You know, that has to stop.